The end of feudalism and the Middle Ages. Each paragraph in this text represents a cause for the end of feudalism and the end of the Middle Ages as an era. The Black Death struck in 1347. Historians estimate that the plague killed 25 million people, about one-third of Europe's population, in the 5 years between 1347 and 1352. The Black Death claimed more lives than any war until the 20th century. Even more terrible, the plague came back again and again. New outbreaks occurred in 1361, 1369, 1374, 1390, and into the 1600s. Though never again as severe as the first outbreak, plague became a constant danger. Peasants rose in revolt. The decline in population had far-reaching effects. Workers were scarce everywhere. Serfs could demand wages for their work. Thus, lords could no longer collect their traditional rents and services. As a result, in many places, serfdom began to disappear. The manor's economy, based on a fixed labor supply of workers who could not leave, was doomed. The ruling class fought these changes. Nobles fiercely resisted peasant demands for higher wages. In 1381, peasants in England revolted, burning manors and killing lords. Similar uprisings took place in France, Italy, and Belgium. In each case, nobles ruthlessly put down the revolts. Although the peasants did not win the lower taxes or other reforms they wanted, the revolts were important nevertheless. The ideal society of the Middle Ages was gone. No longer was there peace among those who worked, those who prayed, and those who fought. New weapons changed warfare. The cannon, along with the longbow, battered down the feudal system. The sound of exploding gunpowder was first heard in Europe sometime after 1250. The English fired small cannons at the Battle of Crecy, but these did little more than scare the horses. After 1400, however, European cannons grew huge and powerful. They could shoot stone balls 20 inches in diameter. With the use of cannons, the castle, like the knight's shining suit of armor, became an outdated relic. National feelings grew in Europe. Faith in feudalism and in the church were both shaken by the upheavals of the 1300s. Among the peoples of Europe, they were replaced by a new feeling called nationalism. Nationalism is the feeling of loyalty to one's own land and people. No longer did people think of the king simply as a feudal lord. Instead, he was seen as a national leader fighting for the glory of the nation-state. New monarchs replaced feudal kings. Medieval kings had ruled according to feudal custom. To fight wars and govern their kingdoms, they had relied mainly on the support of their vassals. The strong rulers who arose between 1450 and 1500 did not base their rights on feudalism, although they certainly used their rights as feudal lords when it suited them. Historians often called these rulers the new monarchs. The new monarchs had three important new sources of power: control of taxes, a professional army, and professional officials. Broad taxing power. Feudal kings had received most of their income from their own estates and from the feudal aids of their vassals. New monarchs demanded every penny of those aids too, but they also received money from other groups. Every class in society, nobility, clergy, townspeople, and peasants, paid some kind of tax to the king. Professional army. Medieval rulers marched to war, followed by an army of knights, who owed military service in exchange for their land. The new monarchs hired soldiers from any class in society. no longer was fighting the specialized work of the nobility, although nobles still commanded most armies. Soldiering became a trade open to all, and professional soldiers were paid from the royal treasury. Professional officials. The new monarchs surrounded themselves with a new class of advisors and officials. Some were nobles, but many were middle-class townspeople. Educated officials from the middle class gave the king loyal service. They were the ruler's natural allies against the haughty and quarrelsome nobles.